I can just simply go right back through the drive-through, no problem. There's no sugar in my coffee. Ugh. All right, so I'm gonna go back through and hopefully they put some sugar in it this time. Now, sometimes people don't realize when somebody else is being literal. An example you guys might be able to follow easily is when somebody in a scary movie is saying, "Look behind you." "Oh, I'm not gonna fall for that." And then they get all stabbed up or shot up or hacked up or whatever. Well, not quite the same, but in this scenario, here's what happened. There was a Ford Super Duty pickup truck in front of me with a little cab over the back. So they got two jerseys. For those of you who don't know what a jersey is, a jersey is a breed of cattle. It's a milk cow. Anyway, so I was playing Guess the Breed. I yelled out my window to him. I said, "Jerseys?" He said, "What?" I said, "The cattle, are they jerseys?" He said, "Yeah." So I got up to the window, and the guy who was in there, he looked at me, and I was like, kind of funny because I was yelling at the guy ahead of me. That's a little bit of an odd thing to do in a drive-through, I guess. So I said, "Oh, well, he had a couple of cows in the back, a couple of baby calves in the back of his pickup." He said, "Oh, did he?" "Yeah, he did." So I got up to the next window and I said, "It's probably a little late to point this out, but that guy ahead of me had a couple of calves in the back, or had a couple of cows in the back." And then I got my coffee, and the lady handed it to me real quick, and she said, "Here you go," and turned around and went back in, and it seemed like she said it in a hurry. Now, whether she thought I was trying to say there was a couple of fat women in the back of that vehicle or something, that might have something to do with it. I might have touched on somebody's self-esteem, self-worth issues, daddy issues, uh, sense of equality. It's kind of rude to call a fat person a cow. But in this particular case, these are literally cattle that are in the back of that vehicle. I don't know why I took another drink. That's gross. All right, so we'll go back through the line, I guess. If I can figure out where my keys are. Anyway, I hope nobody felt insulted. Anyway, since it was tinted windows and it was in the back of a pickup truck, it's not something that you would normally see baby cattle in the back of. Most people aren't going to see baby cows in the back of a pickup truck because most people aren't putting them in the back of a pickup truck. They put them in a trailer. And for them to put it in an enclosed pickup truck, it's way off the ground. I mean, somebody had to lift it up or they had to build a ramp for it to be able to do that. Anyway, those of you who have worked fast food, you know how it gets sometimes. Sometimes something sad happens, but thank you. Sometimes something sad happens, but you still got to go to work. You still got to keep yourself fed. Sometimes grandma dies. You still got to feed your kids. You can't take all them days off, or you can't pay your rent. Sometimes the ex-boyfriend shows back up and you thought that you were rid of him, but he walked right through that protection order. Sometimes some insensitive asshole comes through the drive-through and starts calling fat women cattle. You never know. And I can see, like, you guys say I don't know how to read a room. I certainly do. I've been telling you what's going to happen before it happens since way back at the beginning of this. I can fucking read a room. You know, I grew up with fucking drug addicts for family. I can read the fucking room when it comes to the drug shit. I grew up with a bunch of people who were raped and molested all growing up by their families, and I grew up getting fucking raped and molested and beaten. I can read the room. But you guys want to pretend that because I'm autistic, I'm too retarded to know what's going on around me, and that's just fucking insane. I'm overwhelmed with what's going on around me.
Did I forget something?
Yeah, there's no sugar.
Okay, you can pull around and they'll fix it.
All right, I won't cry too much, and thank you again. My coffee didn't have any sugar in it.
Okay, what is it supposed to be?
15 sugars, 15 creamers.
You want me to just give you sugar packets?
Sure, that'll work.
Okay.
Thank you. Also, I wasn't sure if I offended anybody when I pointed out that there was a couple of cattle in the back of the guy's pickup truck. I just wanted to let you know they were literal cattle. I wasn't making fun of anybody or anything like that.
Okay. Here's I didn't count how many.
You're good. That's definitely enough. There's 23 of them
I'm
here.
sure there's more than that. Have a good day.
Thank you. VPN 101. Oh, license plate. 101. That's like an introductory course, and VPN is the Norton or whatever. Isn't that a VPN? Oh, and this is a F-150 limited edition. Holy shit, that thing is so lifted, I can't even say that it's owned by a dude with a little penis, as the stereotype is. I mean, with a truck that big, it's got to be an any. Well, if we go by stereotypes anyway. Alright, I'm going to go around these people because I've already been through the line twice. Well, thank goodness for McDonald's coffee. And it being cheap. At least I can sit here and use the internet a little bit. I don't catch it very well from over here. I guess 23. Let's see if I'm right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So I was off by 4. My dad still has this fantasy in his head that I'm some sort of Rain Man. Well, maybe I am, but not in the same way. See, I didn't get to advance in the math as far as I could have because I didn't get the hands-on that I should have. That's where all of my great ideas that, my dad, if he'd have been a good dad, a decent dad, a supportive dad, would have actually tried doing some of these things with me. Instead of, I have to do it, Dad wants. Dad wants to make some money off of Forex.com. So instead of helping Sean to turn in his fucking predators, instead of helping Sean to clear his name, instead of helping Sean to get his disability money back, what was it he was doing? Trying to push me the Forex.com so I could make him some money. Forex.com, you know what that is? That's day trading. It's day trading. He thinks that because most of the most successful day traders and card sharks and poker players, all the most successful ones have Asperger's. Did you know that? If you have Asperger's, that increases your chance of being targeted at a casino as a card shark or a card counter. Being autistic, you may think that we get special treatment. No, we get special kicks in our fucking crotches. See, here's the thing. Even though Dustin Hoffman in that movie Rain Man, even though that's a fictional character, yes, autistic people are fucking spectacular at amazing things. But rather than be supportive, you treat them like they're retarded. When they're bullied for being different, bully them for not fucking fitting in, not trying harder to fit in. I have to try to hide the fact that I have Tourette syndrome 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, just so that I can decrease my chances of getting shot by a cop. I want you to think about that for a moment. I have to control it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, so that I don't get shot by a police officer. That's not even mentioning people thinking I'm some sort of a creeper or some sort of a weirdo because I have autism. Yes, I'm different than you. That doesn't make me bad. That doesn't make me evil. It doesn't make me wrong. It doesn't make me a liar. It doesn't make me delusional or schizophrenic. Autism is a fucking gift. But the stuff that you guys associate with autism is mythology that was disproven in the 90s. And still you push it. And still the courts and the cops push it. You victimize us until we're homeless. Because we're intelligent though, man. We fit into a special category of the easiest to victimize. We're going to be bullied because we're intelligent. And then, of course, because we're different. And then, of course, you're going to use that as an excuse to harm us and to discredit us. Because somehow, magically, if you call somebody mentally ill, it's okay to rape them. It's okay to murder them. It's okay to threaten to kill them. It's okay to assault them. It's okay to threaten to kill their friends and their family. It's okay to look the other way if you're a mandated reporter, as long as they're called mentally ill. Meanwhile, it's so fucked up that the mandated reporters, the people that you're supposed to turn it into when a disabled person is fucking abused, you know who you're supposed to turn it into? Mental health. Who tells you that they can't investigate anything? Anything. What does mental health do? They try to talk you out of doing anything. They try to convince you that it's your fault, otherwise they wouldn't have called mental health. On the bright side, at least I'm not a coward. That's one thing I've had going for me my entire life. There's a difference between being scared and being a fucking coward. Bravery is not the absence of fear. It's standing in the face of it. You got to make a stand somewhere. I got to get somebody to do it by the books. When people want to argue with me, there is a legal route that I have to go through. And I will be ignored every step of the way if I have to do it alone. I will be given the mentally ill treatment, which is also known as neglect. Just so you know. If you're going to take on the duties and responsibilities and you are a witness, and yes, when it comes to police officers slandering my name and lying about things that I did, claiming that I didn't do them, and also accusing me of things that I didn't do. When there are witnesses to the situation, and even your own public pretender isn't even going to try to talk to those people. He's going to do everything he can. That's the thing, is that instead of coordinating and trying to talk to witnesses and trying to work together, none of these people who claimed that they were going to help me did anything of the sort. They were busy at each other's throats, busy being paranoid. None of them tried working together until I had to try turning them in, until they were exposed on YouTube and Facebook, breaking the fucking law. Yes, they've got lots of incentive for breaking the law and committing the felonies that they committed after that. They didn't want to get in trouble. Not sure if you noticed, but the only reason I get busted doing anything is because I tell on myself. I shouldn't have to break the law and tell on myself because they won't allow me to turn in my predators. You fucked up. Those of you who are my loved ones who claim that you love me, here's the thing, is that you're not the only people that I love. You're also not the only people with children who are fucking threatened. You want to call me a fucking selfish piece of shit? You want to dip out? Fine, I'm still going to tell the truth. You want to pretend I'm a bad person because they threatened your children and I'm still telling the truth? What about all the other people whose children were threatened? Now, a lot of these people claim that they tried coming forward. Did they ever try coming forward with me? No, not one of them ever did. Not one. Now, Shannon Alvarado, there was a couple of times I thought that she would. But getting her to come forward about it and speak about it, actually tell the truth. Now, she did have conversations with me that she knew were being recorded, that are on my YouTube channel, that show that I was telling the truth, that she just didn't try. She's the one that exposed Kara Johnson Miles in, what is it, May of 2018. And it wasn't until August of 2018 that I literally had to break the law and start a fire and threaten to kill the President of the United States. Yes, that is the truth. That is not a joke. I literally threatened to kill the President of the United States to try to force them to look at the fucking evidence. And you want to go, oh, well, you're fucking crazy because you did that. No, I tried everything else. All this stuff that you're telling me I should have done instead, I tried first. With the exception of those of you who want to say, you should have killed him. Yes, I get that I should have killed Leslie Snell. I get it. I get that I should have killed that judge. I get it. I get that I should have killed Scott DaCosta. I get it. You guys all think that I should have done a bunch of stuff that involves killing people. How about we try the peaceful solution first? Why is it you're saying you're going to help me, and the only solution you're willing to try is to kill people? The only thing you're willing to suggest is to kill people. I don't want Leslie Snell dead. I want her behind fucking bars. I want her kids to see loud and fucking clear that abusing your power and taking advantage of at-risk adults is not an okay thing to do. But what has she taught her kids? She's taught her kids that if she breaks the law, she's going to use those kids to manipulate others so she can get away with it again and again and again. Her kids are a tool. What kind of a good, loving parent uses their kids as a fucking tool to harm others? I can only imagine Clint can't leave her. He can't. When you've got a twisted, manipulative woman like that, you can't leave her. She will destroy your life. Good luck, Clint Snell. Anyway, I gotta turn in police officers here and tell them look for the shit that they did. I still have to turn in the predators that broke the law that the cops didn't do anything about. I have to turn in a bunch of mandated reporters for lying to me. Now, maybe they made a mistake, and you know what? If they made a mistake, that is fine, but they need to admit it, and it needs to be fucking documented. That's the thing about all of my public pretenders. When they did show up and wanted to tell me things to manipulate me, I knew they were trying to manipulate me, and I asked them to get it to me in writing. They repeatedly told me they couldn't do that. Same thing in the prisons. Although, oddly enough, I did get a couple of people there to sign pieces of paper that explain at least part of that, even though they're technically not allowed. Why aren't they allowed to tell the truth? Being told by the staff in there that they're not allowed to turn anything in without their express written consent of the facility. So if there's a crime committed against somebody in the facility who is an inmate, they have to get permission from the prison to turn it in. I wonder how it is that the inmate that Sarah Nelson had sex with, I wonder how it is that he was able to get it investigated. The thing is that nobody should be abused for trying to turn in bad cops. And nobody should have to go in alone to turn in bad cops, or rapists, or child molesters, or twisted, manipulative, druggy women who take advantage of their gender to do horrible things to innocent men because they didn't get what they want. You're going to go slander my name like that and then expect me to shut up? Expect me to just take the abuse that comes from it? Pretend like nobody would ever do a thing like that? And then, of course, you can look on the internet and in my recordings. People treating me horribly. Not willing to look at the evidence. None of them. None of these web sleuth groups. None of these web sleuth sites. None of my family. My sister went out of her way not to look at evidence. Not to look at it. And then claimed to me that she had seen it before. I had shown it to her before. Tara, Yeah, she was shown where to look, but she didn't have much time, and I didn't have much time. I tried to show her and explain to her as quickly as I could what was going on, and that is recorded. And lucky me, it's on the computer that did not get wiped by her friend Ed. And I considered him a friend too. But you know what? He fucked up really big, and rather than admit to it, he wanted to hide it. Prior to that, he hadn't broken the law, he just fucked up really big. But if you're going to try to hide it, that denotes that you are obviously intentionally doing so. If you try to hide your fuck up, now you're breaking the law. If you're driving down the street and there's a hitchhiker and he's wearing all black and it's dark and it's the road in between, let's say it's in between Sidney, Nebraska and Lodgepole, Nebraska, and it's nighttime and there's not a bunch of lights along the side of the road so you can see real well. And there's a hitchhiker on the side of the road and he's wearing all black equipment and he steps out into the road at the last second and you run him over. He's dead as a fucking doornail. Have you broken the law? No. Have you committed manslaughter? No. Have you committed involuntary manslaughter? No. The evidence of his fucking blood splatter and his intestines going 20 feet down the fucking road shows that he got fucking splatted in the road. Now, if it was off to the side of the road, you can say, yeah, why the fuck did you drive off the side of the road to run over that guy? If you drive off the road into the dude, you probably saw him. You probably ran him over on purpose. And you're probably in a shit ton of trouble. Now, if the cops get there and your radiator is fucking steaming and you pulled over because your radiator was steaming, and when you pulled over, he was sitting there camping, that right there, that shows that it's not the case that it originally seems like. I mean, what are the chances that out of all of the places that you could pull off on the side of the road in between Sidney and Chapel, Nebraska, what are the chances that would be the one day that somebody is there in black gear that late at night in that exact place? What are the chances? They're not very good. But if your vehicle's overheated, yes, you had to pull over there. Obviously, those chances went up. Obviously, you did need to pull over. Your radiator cap is popped and it is fuming shit out the top. Well, that's the thing about him getting killed in the middle of the road. Well, obviously, he stepped in front of you at the last second. Deer does. You didn't fuck that deer up on purpose. That deer walked in front of you. Or jumped in front of you. I mean, that fucking deer went out and basically committed suicide by vehicle. And same thing with that hitchhiker. He stepped in front of your vehicle and he committed suicide. Whether he did it on purpose or not, that's what he did. If he's on foot, he heard your fucking car coming. He knew your car was coming. He heard it. And of course, that's one of the things about small details. If he was deaf, yeah, he wasn't going to hear you. Should have seen your lights, though, because it was nighttime. Well, maybe he was blind, but then he should have at least heard you. Maybe he was deaf and blind. Well, if he was deaf and blind, why was he in black hoodie and black pants and black shoes on the side of the fucking road by himself? Now, the reality of the situation is, if you run somebody over in that situation, not only is it not manslaughter, it's also not involuntary manslaughter. He is dead due to not only no fault of your own, but 100% fault of his own. It's his fault that he was not easy to see. It is his fault that he was in the middle of the road. It is his fault that he did not pay attention to the signals, sights, and sounds of oncoming traffic. And if he did it because he's drunk, that is his fault for being drunk. Now here's the point that I'm making with you didn't do anything wrong, but you're about to. The moment you hit that guy and you try to cover it up, the moment you try to hide the body, transport the body, bury the body, do anything with the body other than call the cops and say you ran someone over, he stepped out in front of you at the last fucking second, you didn't see him because he was wearing all black, the moon isn't out tonight and it's fucking midnight. If you ran him over because you were on a 12-hour shift, right after doing another 12-hour shift, you've been on your feet 24 hours. You've been working for 24 hours. And on your way home, you're driving through that situation and that guy steps in front of your vehicle and you run him over, then it might be involuntary manslaughter. You knew before getting behind the wheel that you were exhausted, that you could barely think, that your reaction time was going to be diminished. You knew it was unsafe for you to drive, and yet you did it anyway. And here's the problem, is that I know it's unsafe for me to drive, but I am forced to do it anyway, or I am punished for not jumping through the hoops. Jumping through hoops that I need the vehicle for and I have to drive for. It's just insanity. I'm gonna go try to find Dallas again and see if he'll help. And after that, I'm gonna try to find Lewis and Cheryl if I can't find Dallas. And then after Lewis and Cheryl, I'll try to defund the police is a good idea, but our politicians are making it into a joke, and so are the cops. Defund the police. The police are doing the same things they always did. Just that now they're using it as an excuse to do it to you. They're still getting paid, aren't they? They're still on the fucking clock, aren't they? If they're going to work for that 8 hours and saying that they can't follow the law because they're not paid enough, well then get another job. Walmart is not going to let you go in for a week straight when you work in the back, loading and unloading off of the truck. They're not going to let you sit there in the back for a week straight and tell them, yeah, I'm just not going to do that because you're not paying me enough. I'm still going to come to work. I'm just not going to do my job. What other professions are you allowed to do that? To just simply not do your job because you don't want to. How many jobs can you get paid to literally not do your job? Your job is to protect and serve, right? But if you're not protecting the victims and you are not serving the public interest by doing something about these predators, what are we paying you for? Now, those of us who are homeless, we always got this treatment. Those of you in houses who are complaining that this is Obama's fault, or this is Trump's fault, or this is Biden's fault, no, it's your fault. I told you what would happen. You allowed it to happen to the most victimized people in America because it wasn't happening to you. You say, hey, you know what? Blaming all of us black people as if we're thieves and crack dealers. That's messed up. But then, those of you black folks saying that, are you doing anything or speaking up at all about the homeless people who are going through that? And they're going through it a lot worse than you. That includes black people, so maybe you should pay attention. Instead of telling us we need to go to the back of the bus, you don't like that. How well do you think it would go over if every time a black person told me about how horrible it is that the police treat black people? How about if I treated black folks as a whole, as a group, the way that homeless people are treated as a group? You say, hey, it's wrong to just pretend or assume that all of us black folks are selling fucking crack. It's wrong for you to assume that all of us Mexicans are rapists. It's wrong of you to assume that. But then, of course, we got Mexicans literally from Mexico and black people here in the United States who are doing exactly that to homeless people. They are doing exactly the things and saying exactly the things and making the exact excuses that they complain that white people make about them. Talk about the pot calling the kettle black. You want equality? No, you don't. You want special privileges, not rights. Privileges. You want to be so privileged that you can actually break the law and everybody will be afraid to do anything, including law enforcement, because of your skin color. Oh, well, he's selling crack, but he's black. You know, if we arrest a black crack dealer, then we're racist and racially stereotyping and racially profiling. But the reality is, we're not after him because he's black. The reality of it is we can see him plainly and clearly dealing crack on a street corner right in front of us. Oh, but we can't do anything because that would be racist. It would be racist to arrest a black person who's breaking the law because BLM says that any time that a black person gets in trouble for anything, it must be racial profiling, even if the arresting officer was black. Then, of course, we got people complaining about how black police officers are treated. Well, with excuses, isn't it? Because those black police officers took part in committing illegal acts to assist their fellow officers in getting away with these crimes, thinking there was some sort of brotherhood or camaraderie among law enforcement. And then you realize it ain't true, but it's just about being black, is it? How many of you black police officers who are now complaining about how you were pigeonholed because of the color of your skin, passed over for higher positions? This is piddly ass shit compared to what you people did to us. When I say you people, I'm not talking about just black police officers. I'm talking about all police officers. Matter of fact, the color of your skin makes this far less acceptable because you should know fucking better. You should know better. BLM, you should know better. All the minorities complaining about how they got no rights, wanting to do that very same shit that they hate people doing to them. They want to do it to us homeless people and us disabled people more than anyone else. And you especially target the men. And then you tell us it's our fault. It's white people's fault for being white because white people must be racist. You want to sell this bullshit, this racist bullshit, and pretend like you woke? You woke? Bitch, don't pull a Bonix with me. I ain't retarded, I ain't stupid, I ain't ignorant, I ain't dumb. And I fucking grew up with motherfucking black people, motherfucking white people, motherfucking Hispanic people. I grew up with a lot of different people, and I realized, first of all, people are people. And second of all, just because you white doesn't mean people won't be fucking racist towards you. And that includes telling you that your problems aren't as bad because of the color of your skin. Like these women who tell me I need to go to the back of the bus with this Me Too bullshit. Me Too, huh? No victim left behind, motherfucker. I say that at the end of every video. And I stick up for male victims as well. I stick up for female victims. I stick up for black victims. I stick up for white victims. What's the difference? You're selling a narrative for special privileges, and I'm actually after stopping the predators. We're not stopping the predators when we're at each other's throats. Divided we fall. The United States has fallen. We do not have a constitutional democracy. We also do not have a constitutional republic, which is what America actually is supposed to be. We call our country a democratic republic, and truly it is not. It's not even a republic, and it is for surely not a democracy. We have seen time and again how we have something taken to a vote by our citizens, and our own government officials throw it away. Pot on the ballot in Nebraska. The citizens of Nebraska had enough signatures. 11 separate times I found out. 11 times. I didn't realize they'd tried to have it on the ballot that many times. 11 times they got enough signatures and it was shot down. That's because you can use marijuanas as an excuse when police officers commit felonies. Oh, well, he smokes pot, so it should be okay. He's a criminal, so it should be okay. Luckily, Chapel, Nebraska is right across the border from Colorado. You can go down to Colorado and get pot all day. No problem. Anyway, I'm too razzled to drive. I've been driving a bunch. I got a bunch of anxiety. And I got to turn in bad cops as well as turn in mandated reporters. Now, one of them, I want her to help me to turn this stuff in because as a mandated reporter, it is her job, first of all. And second of all, she really screwed up by not doing her job because she didn't know. And I would rather have her make amends and try to do something to rectify the situation than have to turn her in as somebody who's trying to hide it or cover it up. If you fuck up, you fuck up. That's fine. All right? But if you try to cover it up, it gets people killed, and that cannot be tolerated. All right, so if you take a half a bag, or half of one of these boxes, sorry, worth of Frosted Flakes, Tony the Tiger and all that. That's how much it turns into when you crush it up. Sure, it's in a big old bag like this when you first get it. And it only fills it up halfway and the other half is filled with air, right? So that leaves you with something about this tall with the flakes in it. But it's about 3 times as wide, right? So volume-wise, crushing up the flakes when you don't got no teeth makes it easier for them to not stab you. And it also takes up less space. Anyway, I suppose I'm going to let you go. I'm easy to victimize. And without a guardian and an advocate, I can't turn in people when they victimize me. You get to see how I went to the people I was told to, and they told me it wasn't their job, but later on they did those things for others, so apparently it is their job. Why did they refuse to do their job for me? Why did they lie about it being their job to me? On the bright side, I'm not a coward. I stand up to these predators. I speak up when no one else will. Good to be rid of you. Thanks for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Remember, you are your brother's keeper and no victim left behind. Also, if you get something wrong, ask and listen. If you think you might be getting something wrong, ask. Me and Natalie had a good working arrangement and a good, solid agreement. She did not follow her end of that agreement. But rather than retaliating against her for not keeping her end of the bargain, I simply left the situation and the abuse and the potential for further abuse. But then I was abused for leaving. Natalie Bollinger would still be alive if mandated reporters would do their jobs for a homeless and disabled male. If I could go in by myself and get help, then that's what I'd do. You see that I've tried time and again. You also see the difference between somebody speaking up right then and there and a situation where I have to wait months for someone to do a goddamn thing.